this week's episode of Assassination Classroom, there's a new student joining Class 3E, and it's the psychotic juvenile delinquent, Karma Akabane. Yes, my friends, Karma has finally arrived, and he might be the most badass character in the entire series. Aside from the whole big, disgusting creature teacher that's trying to destroy the planet, but Karma's pretty freaking awesome, and he is going to leave an impression. This week's episode was really impressive. It was a great mixture of disturbing action and uproarious, ridiculous comedy. This was another great episode of Assassination Classroom, and the third episode has really solidified this as one of my favorite series of all time. I just love the comedic and action elements. They really managed to work well together, and they'd almost seem like they don't. But they do! It's magic anime! So let's talk about this week's episode, which opened up really great with all of the students outside doing some exercise with their knives, getting taught by Karasuma, who's the brand new PE teacher. And he didn't want Koro-sensei to be a part of the PE class anymore, so he kicks him out and he sends him to the sandboxes. And he creates this big sand pagoda and starts brewing tea, and this just pisses off the students even more. And then we have the grand introduction of Karma. And damned if it isn't awesome, and you just know it's coming. Especially because when he's first introduced, just the look of him, his red hair, his yellow eyes, his sharpened teeth, the way the sun glares behind him, it just screams, this guy's kind of messed up. Filled with confidence, Karma decides to walk right up to Koro-sensei and give him a big ol' handshake. His hand also happens to be laced with anti-Koro-sensei weapons, which causes one of Koro-sensei's tentacles to explode, giving Karma an opportunity to draw a switchblade from his sleeve and attack him. But Koro-sensei can move at Mach 20 and he immediately escapes, but he is shocked by what he has seen, and he seems a little freaked out over what Karma's all about, especially when Karma slowly walks up to him and gets right in his face and starts to really piss him off. So for the first half of the episode, Karma is pretty much one-upping Koro-sensei by leaving traps for him all over the place, anti-Koro-sensei BBs on the ground that he just walks all over, and even intimidates him with his own stolen gelato, and walks up to him and even stabs him with it. Continuously, he is trying to strip down the teacher version of Koro-sensei, and pretty much thinks that he has the win in his pocket. That is until the next day of class, where basically he's still trying to break him down as a teacher, and even goes as far as to bring in a live octopus and stab it on a wooden block right on his desk, which Koro-sensei grabs and casually brings right to him, and suddenly makes into delicious takoyaki and feeds it right to him, and even does his nails for him. This is when he starts to one-up Karma, and it makes for a lot of laughs, especially the scene where they're in cooking class, and he puts him into this ridiculous pink apron. It's pretty funny, especially because during the scene, Karma tried to flip this hot soup onto him, and in just a matter of seconds, Koro-sensei was able to take this little suction dropper and get all of it in the air so casually and still manage to switch out the apron on Karma. It's a great scene, but it's the final scene of this week's episode which I thought was really intriguing and outright disturbing and showed how far Karma is willing to go to kill Koro-sensei. At the end, he basically is confronted by him and Nagisa, and they're at this cliff edge, and he basically says, well, I pretty much now know that you're not really going to get rid of your teacher persona, which means you want to look out for the best of your students, which means you would do anything to help him. So he decides to pull out one of those guns and jumps off the cliff, knowing that Koro-sensei is going to have to save him, and he will kill him as he is going towards him. So, what happens? Well, nothing really. Koro-sensei decides to hang out a little bit and wait a little bit, bide his time, but he does decide to save him by becoming sticky and turning his entire body into a spider web. He decided that this was the best course of actions. This way Karma could not attack him, and it's at this point that basically Karma realizes that he's never going to be able to kill the teacher persona of Koro-sensei, but he still might be able to destroy the monster within, which still leads me to believe that Karma himself is still going going to be one of the bigger antagonistic forces that we're going to see in Assassination Classroom. And I do like the scene, though. They do start to respect each other a lot there. The symbolism of the sunlight coming in, it looks very nice. I really digged the episode. And it managed to end on a joke as well. So it started out really hardcore and serious, and it ended on a lot of ridiculousness. And that's what I love about Assassination Classroom. It's a great mix of comedy and action. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Assassination Classroom? It was badass. This was such a good episode. I never anticipated that the character of Karma was going to be that awesome. And in my review of my last episode, a lot of you left comments saying that Karma was going to be awesome. And he was. He totally stole the show. He's easily the most interesting character of the entire series, I think, thus far. Aside from Nagisa, who in the first episode seemed like he was going to be a little more prominent, but he's basically just being pushed aside before they introduce all of these other characters first, and I can understand why they're doing that. And he might not even be the main character. I only think that because out of all the other characters, he does have the most distinctive design, but they all have their own distinctive designs when you really look at them, so that is still pretty cool. The character of Karma, though, just damn, he is so disturbing, like, the way he is trying to break down Koro-sensei in this episode, and his methods of attack, and the fact that he's really taking advantage of the fact that he's not going to break that persona as well, because he's going to continuously keep trying to attack him, at least in the first half of the episode. In the second half, that's when he just starts to get made a fool, and I just think that's really funny. And there were a lot of funny scenes this week, especially the ones that involved Koro-sensei when he was in the sandbox, whether it be actually making the big pagoda sandcastle, or the one where he did the octopus trap, where his face was the only thing hanging out. I thought that was real funny, and actually got a big reaction out of me. But really, this episode is all about Karma, his introduction, and just how insane he is, and how he has trust issues. He really doesn't want to trust any of his fellow classmates, and he wants to do this himself, and that's because he was betrayed by other classmates when he was in the other school, and now he's been sent to the mountains of Class E, and now he has to work with a crazy teacher that wants to destroy the world. However, it's sort of bringing out the greater assassin in him, and I really can't wait to see more from him and how he's going to interact with some of the other students in the class, in particular that of Nagisa. Otherwise, this was just a great episode, a really great mixture of different emotions. Action, disturbing stuff from Karma, a little bit of comedy. This is a series that manages to juggle all of those really well, and I think that's really difficult to do with some series, and they're doing it really great with this one. And the animation is fantastic. The the artwork and the art design really isn't anything to write home about, but it looks really good all the time. It's always clean and consistent. This is a well-produced series that's got a good production value behind it, and the fact that Funimation has decided to pick it up. Already 3 episodes in, I hope this gets a Blu-ray DVD release, because I'd like to own it. It's that good. I really am enjoying it. And I'm not even really a big fan of the whole school settings and everything, but just the whole concept of it really makes it interesting. And of course, Karma. I mean, Karma, guys. This guy's awesome! Definitely the coolest character so far. So, I love this episode. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. I got no complaints with it at all. Assassination Classroom is definitely one of my favorite new shows of the winter 2015 anime season, and one of my favorite new shows of all time now. I'm just really loving it a lot, and I love the mixture of all the different elements. So, check it out, guys. Really good episode. Great stuff. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like the video. And before you go, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Assassination Classroom. What did you think about the introduction of Karma Akabane? And what do you want to see from the rest of this series? Please tell me in the comments section below. And before you guys leave, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. It's real easy to do. You just need to click on the channel icon that's right up here. You guys can also follow us on social media like Facebook and on Twitter.